Also on the docket this week, the World Cross Country Championships in Aarhus, Denmark. Let's run through some big names here. So Ethiopia, the men, they got Salomon Barega.
Yeah, it's
1240 guy.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah. Kenya, Jeffrey Kamworor, who's won this race a couple times before.
Yep.
Ronix Kipruto, you know him from running 26:46 on the roads. Amos Karui, who won the Kenyan trials, beat those two guys. Joshua Cheptegei from Uganda, who was
redemption.
The ultimate redemption race for Joshua Cheptegei, who was running on his home course 2 years ago and then completely fell apart.
Yeah.
Subsequent to that, it's run really well on the track. Lil Britson hasn't officially made his announcement about whether or not he's going to run. They said they're going to decide tomorrow, but he's entered in U20. On the women's side of things, big names for Kenya: Helen Obiri and Beatrice Chepkoech, the steeple world record holder in there. The Americans, the men, you've profiled the men before. We have Shadrach Kipchirchir out there along with, 4 other of his
teammates.
WCAP teammates. And then on the women's side of things, Mariel Hall and Courtney Frericks, Krisha Sweiser will be out there. Make a prediction, Lincoln. Make a prediction 5 days from this race.
I'm going to go pretty easy. Safe one. I think Kamworor was going to three-peat. I know he didn't win, and in fact, he was pretty well back at the Kenyan trials. The conditions, the course will be totally different.
Strong take here.
And actually,
Kamworor is going to win a World Cross.
And I didn't know this until I read it yesterday, but Kamworor didn't win Kenyan trials in 15 or 17 either, so maybe it's kind of as part of a plan. Now, it's to lose on purpose. Now, if you're looking for any, I don't know, knots in the armor or whatever the term is, he did lose New York. That's a little bit of a different distance as well.
Slightly different. No hills on museum roofs either.
But since winning World Cross last time, he obviously did that 13:01 split at the end of the World Half Marathon Championships. Kamworor seems to be pretty solid at these B World Championships. You call it World Championships and you remove Mo Farah and Eliud Kipchoge, he's pretty good.
Right.
So
you're talking about World Half and World Cross. Yeah.
I like his chances here. It's interesting, cross country, we've talked about this kind of it's a cliche at this point. It's a great equalizer though, because you look at someone like Salomon Barega and you're like, 12:43. And then you look at Kipruto, 26:46 on the roads. Those guys not yet as proven in cross country. For Barega, he didn't win Ethiopian trials. I know you're saying, well, if you're discrediting the lost set of trials for one guy, you got to do it the
one
same.
Guy is Jeffrey Kamworor.
Yeah, right.
So you're allowed to discount that.
So I like Kamworor on this course. We haven't said anything about it. Let's Run's John Galt profiled the course a little bit. It's going to be nuts, apparently.
Do you think we're going to end up talking about the course being way harder than we anticipated next week, or that it didn't have as big of an impact? Yeah. There's been a lot of talk about the course.
There has been. The weather's not supposed to be.
Is it bad enough to neutralize Kamworor?
No.
Or just throw chaos out there?
No. I did go to Colorado Springs last week, and the ADP guys who will make up 5 of the 6 spots for the Americans are really hoping that basically it's a hailstorm and it's horrible. The weather is actually looking to be a little bit warmer than expected, and I think the rain will hold off. It may end up being in the 40s and just a little drizzly.
Meteorologist Lincoln.
Yeah. I've been talking to Al Roker.
Danish weather reports on the hour.
It's obviously very important. The World Cross team for Team USA did highlight, one of the guys, Hillary Bohr, was talking, we're hoping it's like 2013. Well, in Poland, when Team USA got silver, it was freezing cold. It was basically mud, a complete mud fest. It's not going to be like that. The course is interesting. They run on a roof of a museum at certain points. It's not going to take the sting out of Jeffrey Kamworor. Is the roof of a museum different than just like a regular roof or a regular hill? Well, they run over it 5 times. It's like 200 meters. Yeah, I don't know. There's going to be Vikings apparently. I don't know.
There's fire, right?
There's fire. There's ice. It's a lot of different things. I think best case scenario for the American men is they get a bronze.
You took my prediction there.
And I think Kamworor is going to win.
You look at these. Yeah, that's a good pick. You look at these rosters though. The U.S. should get bronze on the men's side of things. Absolutely. Yes, Bahrain could sneak in there. Uganda could put together. Eritrea, like all those countries that aren't Kenya and Ethiopia, but have 1 or 2 big guns and maybe a couple other people that we don't normally think about, but are really good. But the United States, regardless of the conditions, even if this was flat, I think the U.S. has the talent, has the speed for the men to get top 3. Women, it's going to be harder. Mostly, I'm bummed that we're only getting 2 of the top 6 from U.S. championships here. No Shelby, obviously. No Molly, which Molly I get. She's running London Marathon.
Sure.
But same with Alphine Tuliamuk. She's running a spring marathon. No Amy Craig. It's going to be tough sledding for the U.S. team. I think Mariel Hall is going to run really well. I think Courtney Frerick should do well with the steeple toughness. But Kenya looks loaded to bear. You have a world champion in Helen Obiri and a world record holder in Beatrice Chepkoech. Now, how crazy the weather is and how crazy the mud pit is and the museum hill, that remains to be seen. But the U.S., for the women, they're going to need more things to go right than the men to get on the podium.
I think there's a lot of questions with the women, right? I mean, Frerich's...
You only score 4.
Right. So Frerich's, had to come from behind, and then you can't really compare Tallahassee to Aarhus, but she had to come.
Cities?
Yeah, no, she had to come from behind to get into the spot, into the top 5. So I don't know. I mean, I know she's a silver medalist, but she's not. You can't compare Chepkoech and Frerich just because they're both steeplers. The Kenyan women swept this race 2 years ago. Now, I know it was in Uganda and it was 80 degrees, which was almost comical, how big of an advantage that was for the East Africans. The American women haven't typically fared well in this meet. I mean, the American men haven't either. But, I would be surprised if they are top 4 because Kenya is on a whole nother planet. Ethiopia is good. And then you'll have some other countries as well. The East African countries, again, will pop up. And I would be surprised. So a lot better shot, in my opinion, for the American men to get on that podium. It's only been done twice since, I believe, the 80s.
Yeah.
Before the days of Craig Virgin and those studs. And it's been just complete domination. So I think Kenya will sweep it on both the men's and women's side. And hopefully one of the men or the women can get a medal for the U.S., and I think it'll be the men.
Let us know what you think. Instagram Live. U.S. get a medal? Is Lincoln just being a hater for the women?
I'm not. Yeah.
No. I'm with you there. That makes perfect sense. Someone is going to jump up from that pack of other countries and put together a strong race. Again, only 4 score.
Yeah.
So I think with the U.S. women, they kind of need that Kenyan Ethiopian dominance and then that big drop to that next country. But we'll see. I mean, this race could go haywire. It really could.
Mud and sand, and the Vikings, if they do in fact pillage, watch out. No.
All right.